Towering walls of concrete and barbed wire scraped the sky, casting long, menacing shadows over the barren landscape. The prison stood like a fortress, an impenetrable bastion of despair, La Sombra. The name itself sent shivers down the spines of anyone unfortunate enough to know its true meaning. It was whispered in hushed tones, a place where nightmares came to life. This wasn't just a prison, it was a monster, a living, breathing entity that thrived on the misery of its inhabitants. It devoured hope and spat out despair. Every corner of La Sombra echoed with the cries of the broken and the damned.
Inside, 3 Americans found themselves trapped in its brutal jaws. Each of us had a story, a reason for being here, but none of us expected the horrors we would face. I, Lucas, a former soldier, had come to Mexico searching for my missing sister. My training had prepared me for many things, but not for the darkness that awaited me here. But I found only trouble. The deeper I dug, the more entangled I became in the web of corruption and violence.
I'm Sarah, a journalist chasing a story, determined to expose the cartel's grip on the region. My passion for the truth led me to places I never imagined. Instead, I became the story. My investigation brought me too close to the fire, and I was burned, captured, and thrown into this hell.
And I'm Marcus, a doctor, caught in a humanitarian mission gone wrong. I came to help, to heal, but found myself imprisoned by the very people I sought to save. My skills are now used to patch up broken inmates, not heal. Every day is a struggle to maintain my sanity and humanity in this place of endless suffering.
The air hung heavy with the stench of sweat, fear, and something else, something rotten. It was as if the very walls of La Sombra were decaying, mirroring the souls trapped within. La Sombra didn't just hold you captive, it broke you down piece by piece. It stripped away your identity, your hope, and left you a hollow shell of your former self. The prison was a relentless beast, feeding on the despair of its inmates, growing stronger with each passing day. Time moved differently here. Each second felt like an eternity, each day a lifetime. The outside world became a distant memory, a dream that faded with every tick of the clock. In the darkness, whispers of escape plans and desperate hopes circulated among the inmates. But La Sombra had eyes and ears everywhere. Trust was a luxury few could afford. Guards patrolled with an iron fist, their presence a constant reminder of the power they wielded. Any sign of defiance was met with swift and brutal punishment, yet even in the darkest corners of La Sombra, a flicker of hope remained, a longing for freedom, a dream of a life beyond these walls. It was this fragile hope that kept us going, that gave us the strength to endure another day in La Sombra's grip. Lucas had always been a protector. From a young age, he took on the role of guardian for his younger sister Maria. He was always there to shield her from the harsh realities of life, always ready to step in when things got tough. When his sister Maria vanished in Mexico, he vowed to find her. He couldn't bear the thought of her being alone and scared in a foreign land. His determination was unwavering, and he set off on a journey filled with uncertainty and danger. His search led him to a seedy bar in Tamaulipas. Wrong place. The bar was notorious for its shady dealings and unsavory characters. Lucas knew he was walking into a lion's den, but he had no choice. He had to find Maria, a drug deal gone wrong, framed. In the chaos, Lucas was mistaken for a criminal. The authorities were quick to judge, and he found himself caught in a web of corruption and deceit. He was thrown into La Sombra. The prison was infamous for its brutality and lawlessness. Lucas knew he had to stay strong if he wanted to survive and find a way to clear his name.
I lived for the truth. As a journalist, my mission was to uncover the hidden stories, to shine a light on the darkest corners of the world. I had heard whispers of La Sombra, a place where the law didn't exist. I'd heard whispers of La Sombra, a place where the law didn't exist. The stories were chilling, and I knew I had to investigate. I was determined to expose its horrors. A smuggled phone call, a tip-off betrayed. I became another prisoner. I was determined to expose its horrors. A smuggled phone call, a tip-off betrayed. I became another prisoner. My quest for truth had led me straight into the heart of darkness.
My medical missions took me to dangerous corners of the world. As a doctor, I felt a deep responsibility to help those in need, no matter the risks. In Mexico, I offered free clinics to impoverished villages. The gratitude of the people was overwhelming, and it made all the hardships worthwhile. But fate had other plans. A case of mistaken identity. One moment, I was a healer. The next, I was a suspect. The authorities accused me of aiding a rival cartel, and no amount of protest could change their minds. Accused of aiding a rival cartel. The evidence was fabricated, but in a place where corruption ran deep, the truth didn't matter. I was thrown into La Sombra, my medical skills now a lifeline for survival. Now, I treated wounds inflicted by the very people I tried to help. The irony was bitter. but I couldn't abandon my oath to heal, even in the darkest of places.
Wrong place, wrong time, each of them ensnared by fate, their lives forever altered by a single moment of misfortune. Each of them ensnared by fate, each of them fighting for survival in La Sombra's grip. The prison was a place where hope was scarce and every day was a battle to stay alive. Each of them fighting for survival in La Sombra's grip. In this place, alliances were fragile and trust was a rare commodity. But amidst the despair, there was a glimmer of resilience, a spark of hope that refused to be extinguished. The days bled into weeks, weeks into months. Hope, once a flickering flame, threatened to extinguish entirely. The guards, fueled by cruelty and corruption, ruled with iron fists. Food was scarce, water even more so. Beatings were a daily occurrence.
Haunted by my failure to find Maria, I withdrew into myself. My fighting spirit, honed in the military, seemed to have deserted me.
My voice silenced, I clung to my notebook, my only weapon against the despair.
My medical supplies long gone, I used my knowledge to treat the sick and injured, a small act of defiance in a world gone mad.
But even in the darkest depths, the human spirit fights to survive. A shared glance, a whispered word, the faintest flicker of defiance. They were Americans, they were innocent, they would not be broken. One stifling night, a sound cut through the oppressive silence, a faint scratching. Lucas, ever vigilant, traced it to a loose brick in his cell wall. Behind it, a vent and something else, a note.
Hope is not lost, we are many, we are strong, find me. It was signed simply El Libertador.
Could this be real? Could there be a way out of this hellhole?
We had to find out.
They began to communicate through the vent, tapping out messages in a simple code. They learned that El Libertador was a group of inmates planning an escape, and they wanted the Americans to join them.
Fluent in Spanish, I became our voice.
Marcus quickly learned that El Libertador needed specific skills for their plan to succeed.
They needed Lucas's military expertise, Sarah's resourcefulness, and my medical knowledge.
The plan was audacious.
We would use the annual Fiesta de la Muerte, a night of drunken revelry for the guards, to make our move.
But they needed a map of the prison's underbelly.
Using my meager rations as leverage, I bribed a sympathetic guard.
The map revealed a network of sewage tunnels leading outside the prison walls.
It was a long shot, but it was our only shot.
As the day of the fiesta approached, the tension in the air crackled like electricity.
The night of the Fiesta de la Muerte arrived. Music blared, obscenely cheerful against the backdrop of La Sombra. The guards, drunk on tequila and power, paid little attention to their charges. It was time.
All right, it's now or never.
Lucas, his eyes cold with determination, led a diversionary attack, creating a riot in the main courtyard. The guards, caught off guard, scrambled to regain control.
This is our chance!
Meanwhile, Marcus, his hands steady despite the adrenaline coursing through his veins, made his way to the electrical panel. With a deep breath, he threw the switch, plunging La Sombra into darkness. The escape was on. Sarah, her heart pounding in her chest, slipped through a hidden door in the kitchen, the map clutched tightly in her hand. The stench hit her first, a wave of raw sewage and decay. She fought back the urge to gag and plunged into the darkness.
We have to keep moving.
The tunnel was a nightmare, narrow, slippery, and filled with God knows what. The air was thick and heavy, making it difficult to breathe, but they pushed on, their desire for freedom outweighing their fear.
I can't believe we're doing this!
Suddenly they heard shouts echoing from behind them. The guards had discovered their escape. Panic threatened to overwhelm them, but Lucas's voice rang out, firm and reassuring.
We can make it, keep moving.
They emerged from the tunnel, gasping for air into the cool night air. The jungle stretched before them, dark and forbidding, but it held the promise of freedom. A voice cut through the darkness.
Over here, amigos. Diego, I was sent by El Libertador. Come, we must go.
Their journey through the jungle was fraught with danger, but Diego proved to be a skilled guide. He led them through hidden paths, away from the prying eyes of the cartel. Finally, after days of grueling travel, they reached the US border. The taste of freedom had never been sweeter. Back in Texas, Lucas, Sarah, and Marcus struggled to rebuild their lives. The journey was far from easy, and the memories of their harrowing experiences haunted them daily. Each step forward felt like a battle against the shadows of their past. The scars of La Sombra ran deep, both physically and emotionally, but they had survived. They had triumphed. Their bodies bore the marks of their suffering, but their spirits remained unbroken. They knew that their survival was not just a testament to their strength, but also a call to action.
I can't let what happened go unanswered. The pain, the loss, the injustice, it all demands a response. I owe it to those who didn't make it out, to those who are still suffering. This is my mission now. I need to help others. It's the only way I can make sense of what happened. By turning my pain into purpose, I can find some semblance of peace.
Lucas, haunted by his experiences, dedicated himself to helping other victims of cartel violence. He knew firsthand the terror and hopelessness they felt. His empathy and understanding made him a lifeline for many who had lost all hope. He became a beacon of hope for families torn apart by the drug trade. His story inspired others to believe that recovery and redemption were possible, even in the face of unimaginable adversity.
People need to know the truth. The world can't turn a blind eye to the atrocities happening right under its nose. We have to shine a light on the darkness.
Sarah, her voice stronger than ever, published a searing exposé on La Sombra, detailing its horrors for the world to see. Her words were a powerful weapon, cutting through the silence and apathy that had allowed such evil to flourish. Her words sparked outrage and ignited a firestorm of international pressure. Governments and organizations could no longer ignore the cries for justice. The world was watching, and it demanded action.
We can make a difference starting now. Every voice, every action counts. Together, we can bring about the change that is so desperately needed.
Marcus, forever changed by his time in La Sombra, returned to Mexico, this time with the full force of the US government behind him. He was determined to dismantle the cartel's operations and bring its leaders to justice. He worked tirelessly to establish medical clinics and provide aid to those who needed it most. His efforts brought much-needed relief to communities ravaged by violence and neglect. The story of their escape spread like wildfire, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. It became a symbol of hope and resistance, inspiring others to stand up against oppression. Sarah's exposé, coupled with mounting international pressure, forced the Mexican government to take action. The authorities could no longer turn a blind eye to the cartel's atrocities. La Sombra, the once impenetrable fortress of despair, was shut down. Its reign of terror had come to an end, and its victims could finally begin to heal. Its walls, once symbols of fear and oppression, were torn down, brick by bloody brick. The physical destruction of La Sombra was a powerful act of reclamation and justice. The shadows had been lifted. The light of truth and justice had pierced through the darkness, bringing hope to those who had suffered for so long. Justice, though long delayed, had finally been served. The perpetrators were held accountable, and the victims' voices were heard. Lucas, Sarah, and Marcus, forever bound by their shared ordeal, emerged from the darkness, stronger, more determined, and forever changed. Their bond was unbreakable, forged in the fires of their shared suffering and triumph. They were living proof that even in the darkest depths, hope can survive. Their journey was a testament to the power of resilience, courage, and the unyielding human spirit, and that even the most formidable of shadows can be overcome by the light of truth, courage, and the unyielding human spirit. Their story was a beacon of hope, a reminder that no matter how dark the night, the dawn will always come.